Welcome, everyone, to Making Sales Social Live, brought to you by Social Sales Link. I'm Bob Woods, and I'm joined by co-host and fellow LinkedIn and social selling professional, Brynne Tillman. Sup, Brynne?
Hello, my friend Bob. I'm happy to be here with you today.
Always happy to be here with you and to send out some knowledge about what it is we do every day, because we know it can help a lot of other people. Welcome to Making Sales Social Live, as we share LinkedIn and social selling training, strategies, and tips that will have an immediate impact on your business. Join Brynne Tillman and me, Bob Woods, every week. Making Sales Social Live. This is the recorded version of our weekly Making Sales Social Live show. So if you're a bit older, it doesn't have to be like that much older, certainly not my age or whatever, you might remember the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where players choose an actor and then connect them to either another actor by using Kevin Bacon as one of the degrees, or connect directly to Kevin Bacon via a film that both actors have appeared in together. The person who wins is the one who finds the shortest path. Now, by the way, I'm only 2 degrees away from Kevin Bacon, which is a long, complicated story.
No, wait. I heard you say long, but shorten it up and tell me, how are you 2 degrees from Kevin Bacon?
Really long story short, I sold him a printer when he was making a movie when I worked in computer retail in Chicago, and he came into our store in the Loop.
Did you meet him?
I worked with him, yeah.
Well, then you're 1 degree. You're it.
No. I'm sorry. I should have mentioned the actor. John Larroquette is the person who I'm connected to Kevin Bacon through.
Oh, John Larroquette was one of my favorites. He was on Night Court.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He's a great actor, really nice guy in person too.
Okay, so now I get it. Okay, so 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon. You are you are one person away. So keep going.
Right. Yeah. So in other words, if this were LinkedIn, John Larroquette, I'm sorry, Kevin Bacon, too many actors. Kevin Bacon would be a second degree connection of mine. So this works on LinkedIn too. And actually, Brynne, I know you have a story that you've told before, but I think it's so effective, and it also shows the power of social proximity.
Yeah. So social proximity is interesting. When we think of our proximity to someone, typically we would think of it in a physical way. My proximity is I'm 2 miles from the mall, right? Like you think of that. Social proximity is what is our pathway to get to our targeted buyers, prospects, referral partners. What is our social map, that journey? So, and we want to plot it. Let's start with first, and then I'll get to my story. Your best ultimate social proximity is first degree to a decision maker, right?
Right. So in my example, that would be directly to Kevin Bacon.
Right. If Kevin Bacon had walked in and you worked with him, that's your best connection. The second one, and I'm not going to say that they're definitely in this order because it really depends on how deep your relationship is. But the second one is a client or prospect or someone that you know well or knows you well knows that person. So let's say you and John Larroquette went out to coffee, you built a little bit of a rapport. And now, after a little while, you're like, hey, I noticed you're connected to Kevin Bacon on LinkedIn, and it's someone I'd love to get in front of. Can I ask you, how well do you know him? Oh, we're doing a movie together. I see him every day on the set. And you're like, oh, would you be open to making an introduction, or at least allowing me to reach out to him to let him know that we talked and you thought it made sense? So that's the concept, right? So we are connected. We are 1 degree connected. Now, there are lots of other scenarios, right? So there could be, I'm connected to someone in the company at a lower level that might be able to get me in. But the goal ultimately is to leverage our social proximity to enter the ecosphere of our buyer or decision maker or targeted audience at a high level of credibility because it came through a shared connection.
Yep.
So why we are here today is when I started in sales, and it's a long story, so I'm not going through the whole story, but in the 90s, I recognized how much I loved sales and people and solving problems. What I hated was cold calling. Just
Yep.
it felt like such a waste of time. What I loved was client referrals. And I knew how to ask for them, and I often got them. And that's how I grew my business. Now, I recall sitting across from one of these clients, I think in 1992, staring at his overflowing Rolodex. So you talked about age and Kevin Bacon. I'm going to bring age back into the conversation. I'd love to know, for you guys that are listening, if you still have a Rolodex, put R in chat out of curiosity in comments.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a Rolodex is, put a question mark. Just
Yep.
curious who's out there. Okay. So staring at his overflowing Rolodex, thinking if I could get my hands on this for 15 minutes, I could identify who he knew that I wanted to meet, ask for introductions, and I wouldn't have to cold call anymore. When I realized it was these client introductions that were so meaningful, all of a sudden it became essential to me to move in that direction. So I went a couple of decades, and then I found LinkedIn, and I recognized we have the opportunity to search and filter our connections. So we can look at John Larroquette's connections and see he's connected to Kevin Bacon. So even if you didn't know it, you could find it. That is the magic, hands down, of why LinkedIn, I believe, is the most powerful sales tool that we have today. The social proximity that we have to our ultimate decision makers and buyers and influencers. And guys, now the number one question we'll get right now will be, well, can we do this in the free LinkedIn or do we have to pay?
Looking to up your LinkedIn game? The Social Sales Link team has you covered with our LinkedIn Sales Accelerator, a guided social selling program that includes training, coaching, and so much more. Visit socialsaleslink.com/in for more details. Again, that's socialsaleslink.com/in. Right.
Bob, what's the answer to that?
You can do it in free. You can absolutely do this in free. And LinkedIn makes it pretty easy too. And there are a couple different ways to do it, but essentially you go into search, and I'm just gonna do it on my other screen as I'm talking here. Yeah. So it's really easy. Just step through it really quick. Just put your cursor in the search box, hit hit enter. At that point, you can click on people, and then you'll see a bunch of filters at the top, and the very first one says connections, and you can search by first, you can search by second, you can search by third plus, but that's like really cold in our opinion. So, but especially with what we're talking about today, you definitely want to click into that second, and then you click show results, and that just gives you a general idea of how many second degrees you have. So in that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon type of thing we're talking about, just second degrees without any other filters, and filters is where the magic lives, by the way. Second degree alone, I have 2.32 million people on LinkedIn alone that I am the second degree of.
That's crazy. That means that your business card, you're one business card away from that many people. But here's the beautiful thing. LinkedIn has lots more filters by industry, by location, right? All those kinds of fun things. So maybe we bring it down to a couple of thousand. But here's where the real magic comes in. So let's say, Bob, you say, you know what? I have this great relationship with John Larroquette right now. And I could ask him for an introduction to Kevin Bacon, but I'm pretty sure he's going to know more people than Kevin that I might want to meet. So in that filter, we can type in John's name. And if you're already a first degree connection of him on LinkedIn, you will get a list, and you could put an actor in title or whatever it is that you need. Bring that list down. And now we have the 19 people John Larroquette knows that Bob wants to meet. One of them is Kevin Bacon. So now when you have a conversation, the conversation can be something around, hey, John, I noticed you're connected to quite a few people that I'm looking to get in front of over the next few weeks. I'm wondering if you've got 5 minutes where I can just run these names by you, tell you why I'm reaching out, and maybe you can help me determine if it makes sense or not. We get on a Zoom. Hey, John, great to see you. Obviously, top of the list is Kevin Bacon. He's like, yeah, he's a great guy. He'd be great for you. Go through the whole list, and maybe you have 6 now, 6 people from the list of 19 that John says, yeah, that's perfect. Now, based on your relationship with John and how busy he is, and I'm sure he's really busy, you could ask for introductions, but we love permission to name drop. This is a big one, right? So, John, thank you for your time. When I reach out to these folks, can I tell them you said hello? Can I let them know that we had this conversation and you thought it made sense for me to reach out? Right? So Kevin, John Larroquette and I were chatting the other day. Your name came up in our conversation. He says hello, right? After talking to him a little bit about X, Y, and Z, he thought it made sense for me to reach out and introduce myself. So if you're open, let's connect and I'll loop you in our conversation. That's it. He connects and we assume.
It's simple to do. And also it gives us control over the process because sometimes someone might say, oh yeah, I'll even introduce you, or you might think, well, maybe this person should do the initial introductions. That's great, and it's great when they volunteer. The thing is, that first degree connection, in this case John Larroquette, might get busy. He might not do it for a wide variety of reasons, none of which have to do with you personally, but yet it does affect your control of the situation. So that's why that's one of the reasons why we prefer name dropping, because it does give us control into when we reach out and more of the process.
And we actually found in testing it, I mean, we're going back years now.
Yeah.
But we tested it and it was almost the same response.
Yep.
Really close. But we control the sales process, and we can also ask for way more, right? Like you can't ask John Larroquette to introduce you to 6 people. That's a lot of work, right?
Yeah. That would be. Yep.
Right. And, so thanks, John, wherever you are.
Great story that I'm using. Let's see. I think we met in like 95 or 96. So that's like an almost 30-year-old story. Oh my God. I'm getting old.
Yeah. It's okay. He's one of my favorites. I really love him. So I think it's funny that came up. So
yeah. So
anyway. And I would want to meet John over Kevin, by the way. So now I am a second degree to John Larroquette.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Exactly. No, you're actually, you're a second.
You.
Right. Yeah. Because you're now a second degree to John Larroquette and
third
to
Kevin
degree
Bacon.
to Kevin Bacon.
That's right.
That is the magic of social proximity, everyone. So that is how it works. And so I think with that, unless there's something else, I can't really think of anything. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. So thanks again for joining us live on Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us right now live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, we do this every week, so keep an eye out for our live sessions. If you are listening to us on our podcast and you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button in whatever platform you're in to access all of our previous shows, which we've had some fantastic shows, and we're recording new ones all the time too. That I think the quality of people that we're getting in and the topics that we're talking about really speaks to subscribing or following us. So hit that button for when new ones drop. If you'd like more info on the podcast, it's at socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Again, that's socialsaleslink.com/podcast. We do 2 shows weekly. We do this one and our Making Sales Social interview series, where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many more areas. And I've done several in the past couple of weeks, and they've all been terrific. So subscribe, follow, all that kind of good stuff. So when you're out and about, be sure to make your sales
social. Bye, guys.
Exactly. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Don't miss an episode. Visit socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. Register for free resources at linkedinlibrary.com. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.